IED blast has taken place in Kalamassery in Kerala during a Jehovah's Witness congregation at the Zamra International Convention Centre. Meanwhile, 3 blasts have taken place in Kerala simultaneously, leading to 1 person losing their life and 56 being injured at this point in time. Some of them are critically injured and in ICUs. Some rather baffling incidents are taking place in Kerala. In fact, yesterday, the news that made headlines was that of Khalid Mashal, a former Hamas chief who virtually addressed a gathering in Kerala's Malappuram. No political figure in Kerala objected to this event or this participation by somebody who is a member of the terrorist organization called Hamas. Whether it's the love jihad, the conversions, the PFI radicalization, or increasing ISIS recruitment in Kerala, the Kerala government has ignored all the warning signs. With this in focus, the question that comes about is politics ruining the beautiful state of Kerala. We'll talk about this with our guest, Xavier Rodriguez, BJP leader, editor-in-chief of Goa Chronicles, joins me on the program. Mr. RVS Mani, former Under Secretary, Internal Security, also with us on the show. Rashmi Sawant, human rights activist, joins us on the program as well. And last but not the least, Mr. Mithun Vijay Kumar, political analyst and author, who's from Kerala, also joins us on the broadcast. Mithun, I'll begin with you, if you can hear me. Mithun?
I can hear you.
Mithun, you know, we've discussed the situation in Kerala. We've discussed the radicalized situation in Kerala in the past as well. And everybody is aware that, Kerala has had vulnerabilities that have been exploited by terrorist organizations, by funders of terrorists from across the shores as well from time to time. Yet the government has always been busy. The government of the day and the government of the past in Kerala has always been busy politicizing issues, defending their bad decisions, and defending those bad decisions has led to these terrorist attacks today. Of course, I'm not jumping the gun, Mithun. There are probes to take place. There will be an investigation, but so far it looks like it is a clear failure of investigation and interrogation and intelligence, and that's why we have 1 person dead so far.
Definitely, Vineet, I totally agree with you on this. The problem is we not just have a government that defends its wrong policies, but they also are boastful about certain things. And when it comes to, security of the state and people, they are least concerned about it. And they are more concerned about, filling their own pockets along with some vote bank politics to ensure that they, continue the loot. So see what happens when you get down into minority appeasement is that jihadis and the extremists start growing like weed, and it becomes difficult to remove them after a point. And that's what is happening in Kerala. And we have seen this when PFI was banned. The entire left liberal ecosystem came in support of the jihadis, and they started drawing parallels between RSS and PFI. And their slogan itself was that if you are banning PFI, if you intend to ban PFI, then first ban RSS. So that was the kind of support they were offering the jihadis at that time. And we have seen this even during the release of the movie Kerala Story, that actually highlighted some of the core issues in Kerala, especially with religious conversions and recruitment to ISIS. So even that was justified when the Kerala CM particularly on record had stated that 100 recruitments had taken place to ISIS. When the movie was released, it was completely attacked by a particular section of Kerala, and they were saying, it's an exaggeration. It has never happened in the state. It is not. It has nothing to do with the state. Was the kind of narrative they were pushing forward. So that is an agenda they have been following, and that is the agenda they have been following since long. It's not that the Pinarayi Vijayan government, or it is not something they have been doing in the recent past. They are the ones who have compared Abdul Nasser Madani, the mastermind behind Coimbatore attacks, with Mahatma Gandhi. So the politics of appeasement had been there with this particular party since long. So they are not doing something new. It has always been there. But now we have started seeing the results, or the adverse results, of this appeasement politics that the government is doing. And you see, when the war between Palestine and Hamas is going on, Kerala is perhaps one of the states where the ruling government itself makes statements, supporting the terrorists. So that's the policy of this particular government. And now Kerala is gradually becoming a breeding ground for all these jihadi activities. And I am not sure, till now we don't have any confirmation on who carried out this particular attack, but who carried out this particular bombing activity. But there are signs that it could be something related to the jihadi elements. When Prime Minister visited Kerala last year, the intelligence. I'm giving you an example of the intelligence failure. When Prime Minister visited Kerala, the intelligence note was actually leaked much before the visit of the Prime Minister. So that shows the response. That shows how irresponsible the police is here, or how irresponsible is the intelligence mechanism of the state. So we have had examples in the past. We know the agenda of the government. We know the policies of the government when it comes to politics. So there is certainly something that is connected to all the jihadi activities and the certain things that we are doubting now. So I'm not commenting on it at this point, but it's very threatening, Vineet.
Gautam Mukherjee, senior journalist, also joins us on the program to talk more about this. Gautam Mukherjee, I hope you can hear me, and thank you for being here. Is Kerala becoming a cesspool of terrorism, and is this government that sits in Kerala at this point in time capable, or rather even insightful or profound enough to acknowledge what is going on? There have been multiple incidents in the past, very recent past, as recent as July, Gautam, where ISIS modules have been busted, and yet the precautions that we see, the rhetoric around being played by this government is completely different and lopsided from what it should be doing to prevent such incidents from happening.
Well, it's very alarming what is going on in Kerala. This incident, of course, is one of the first attacks on a large community. I mean, if you call Jehovah's Witnesses as part and parcel of the Syrian Christians and other Christian sects, then this is an attack on 40% of the population, and it's alarming. Is this person who has confessed for real, or is he a crackpot? Because it seems meticulously planned, and if it is so, and it is actually a Jehovah's Witness out to kill others, that doesn't quite make sense, but you never know. If it is jihadi in the background, then this could be the beginning of more such clashes, and this has the imprint. Jihadis love bombing each other in mosques, and so this is typical of how they operate. Kerala and West Bengal are working very hard to be a law unto themselves. They use the federalism part of our constitution to the hilt so that they can deviate as they please, deny as many of the central directives as possible, and operate in a way as a pressure group on the rest of the country, and particularly the government at the center. So, and again, like Bengal, they have the support of the local people. That's why they are very difficult to dislodge in any election, and this has gone on and on. Tripura was another one, but Tripura has been cracked and is no longer with the communists. But wherever there are communists and jihadis, you've got this kind of Molotov cocktail waiting to bomb anybody who disagrees with them. Beneath.
Savio, what do you think is supposed to be the stand that the central government needs to take at this point in time? Obviously, if the local government is not going to be able to fend for itself when it comes to these alarming reactions from radicalists, then the central government has to take note and do something about it. What are the options that they have or they can exercise?
So one of the things that the central government has done recently was to ban the PFI, the Popular Front of India, which undoubtedly is a terror organization. But the problem with Islamic radicalism and Islamic terrorism is that you ban one organization, it does not stop the ideology, neither does it stop the creation of many more organizations like the PFI. One of the things that the government needs to do, the Indian government, is first ban SDPI. SDPI is a political arm of what was the PFI. So as long as you have people of that nature in politics, you are going to have influences within the political spectrum for Islamic radicalism and towards Islamic radicalism. The second most important thing in the context of what is happening in India at this point of time and in other parts of the world with the pro-Palestinian rallies, which are actually pro-Hamas rallies, is the fact that India has not banned or classified or categorized Hamas as a terror organization yet. I think the Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, must look into this matter immediately and designate Hamas as a terror organization, as other parts of the world have. The reason why today people are coming out and supporting pro-Palestine and pro-Hamas ideologies and talking about Israel being a terror state is because we have not been able to. People need to understand and distinguish clearly between what are the concerns of the people of Palestine vis-a-vis what is terror according to Hamas. Now, Kerala is going exactly on that same path, the path that is actually what Islamic radicalized nations follow, which is to give support, give vent, give opportunities for Islamic radicalism to flourish. And that is why you're seeing this strain of Islamic activity, Islamic protest, Islamic thoughts, Islamic speeches, which are inciting, which are instigating a whole lot of the Muslims to move towards Islamic radicalism, to move towards Islamic terrorism, which is why there was never a doubt for those people who joined ISIS from Kerala itself, because they were so radicalized. So there has to be an effort by the Kerala government or the central government first to stop the madrasas that impart that kind of Islamic radicalized knowledge to young minds. If you look at a terrorist, right, I'm going to take maybe 2 minutes more. If you look at a terrorist, most of them that have been caught were linked to Islam and Islamic radicalism. Why? And most of them were educated. So the radicalism is not happening at a university level. The radicalism is happening at a young level when the minds are young. So that's got to be a madrasa where the Muslim kids are going to and then getting radicalized. So today, when they go to a university, whether it's abroad, whether it's in India, whether it's like a JNU, they go to those universities, those radicalized mindset get further nurtured when they come across people that work against the interest of nations. Hamas's attack, I keep coming back to October 7th. Why? Because there is no logical end game to the Hamas attack. They came in, they infiltrated, they killed 1,400 civilians, they injured 3,800 people, innocent Israelis, and kidnapped over 200 people. But what was the end game? Did they think Israel was not going to attack them back? Or did they want Israel to attack them? And that's what I think it was. They want Israel to attack them. They want to have an Arab war where Arab nations are at war with each other. And that what will lead to a larger global war. And that is why you're seeing immense protests around the world, including in India, including in Kerala, where pro-Palestinian people are talking about the rights of Islamic radicalists, not talking about the rights of the people of Palestine. The people of Palestine at this point of time need to get rid of Hamas. The people in Kerala who are standing up, or people in other parts of India who are standing up for the Palestinians, must understand and must be able to differentiate between a terror organization and the real concerns of the people of Palestine. Why were the people of Palestine working in Israel? 20,000 odd people were working and have been allowed to work in Israel. Why? Because Israel and Palestine were working towards peace talks. The Abraham Accords was the cornerstone in which peace was coming into the Arab world, which is something that Qatar never wanted, Iran never wanted and China never wanted. It's the same playbook that's going to happen in India, Vineet. You're going to have Islamic radicalized youth going to be charged up to create ruckus in India, because in their minds, they do not look at themselves as Indian Muslims, but they look at themselves as Islamists that are here not because of India, but to create hegemony around the world. And that is why you're seeing in Europe the classic case of where Islamic radicalism is destroying European nations, and like they've destroyed nations in the Arab world that were affluent, that were economically strong, and not driven or lived by the radicalization of Islam.
You're
but
right.
Now you have Lebanon, you have Libya, you have Syria. They are all ruined as nations. These were promising Arab countries at one point.
You're absolutely right. Mr. Mani, how much do you agree with Savio on this, that, apart from the security apparatus and the security assessment that needs to be done in Kerala, there also has to be room made for analyzing the radicalism that is perhaps unchecked, more so in Kerala than other parts of the country?
See, indeed, there are two aspects to it. Radicalism is happening, especially the Islamic radicalism is happening. Not today, I have explained it much before, right from late 90s it has been happening. The Gulf funding and the Islamic radicalism have been co-jointly happening, and there is no denying this fact. Even to the recent extent that the state involvement in this is established by the gold smuggling case by a consulate official of Kerala, of a Gulf country posted in Kerala. And we had a link with this CM office. So that is the biggest giveaway. So we cannot be in any denial. And if we think, I don't want to take any name, but we are all aware of the case that there was a linkage of a Gulf consulate official and a CM office official. Both of them were involved in gold smuggling. For what? For whichever purpose, whether it was for terror funding, whether it was for radicalization, whether it was for jihadi activities, or whether it was for recruitment of brides. We do not know what the ultimate end use of that was to be. But this is the way state government, and because of its complicity and this exposure, the Kerala state apparatus itself comes under the question. That is one part. I am not saying anything because Kerala state apparatus is already under question under the derailing of the Indian space program in 1990s, the Nambi Narayan case, and thereafter. So there have been fault lines in the Kerala state apparatus, and if you say the finest part is that one of the best internal security experts like the Home Secretary G.K. Pillai or Raman Srivastava or L.C. Goyal have been from the Kerala cadre officers. They have been the finest and the most meticulous internal security experts in the country. At the same time, this is also happening in Kerala is something which cannot be denied. So the fault lines in Kerala are much more deep-rooted. Number two is political people have been not only not trying to correct it, but they have been fanning it. Whether it is the PFI taking some other avatar, or whether it is allowing the brazen recruitment by ISIS or the Hezbollah or whatever it is, people landing up because Gulf job is no more attraction because it is much beyond that. If Gulf job was an attraction, they would go for legitimately paid jobs. They will not be landing up in Syria as third-rate workers and sweepers and cleaners instead of, or landing there, the girls landing up there as sex slaves. So Gulf job, it is not the attraction of Gulf, it is something which is happening. The psyche is getting affected, and that needs to be, and that is being fanned out of the enormous amount of. See, there have been several pockets in Kerala, like the Malappuram, where yesterday's Hamas leader, former Hamas leader, had addressed into Zoom channel. There is a place called Bonani or all around area. There is not a single Hindu family left in that. Non-Muslim family, even there used to be a lot of Christian, non-Muslim family left in that. This particular case, Dominic Martin has said the investigation will do it, the investigators will do it. We do not know whether it was a motivation to confess, whether it was a motivation to attack, or we do not know. Let the investigations do. Let us not do the job of the investigation.
All right.
But these fault lines.
Yeah, we've almost.
Final.
Yes, sir.
Final word, one short word.
Ji.
So it is simply not the politicalization who are not only oblivious, but they are refusing to correct the system for their own political benefit agenda. So now they are furthering this agenda, like the money making by the CM office, just because some terror funding, some gold was being smuggled into the country, into the state. So these fault lines, so this is a very clear evidence of the government supporting these fault lines, perpetuating this fault line, and that needs to stop. That needs to stop only when the internal security is brought under the union list. There is no other.
You're absolutely right, sir. And Rashmi, Savio in fact brought out a very important point here. He said that some of the Western countries, the powerhouses, did let Islamic radicalism thrive in their backyard under the garb and name of, being too liberal. And perhaps that's, an example that India can learn from and take action and the corrective measures at the right time, because if you talk about the population in our country, after Indonesia, we have the second highest Muslim population, and it will be foolish to assume that a few of them will not be radicals.
Well, Vineet, I think the fact remains that radicalism on the rise, terrorism is on the rise. There are more terror organizations today than ever before. They have weapons of mass destruction. They have missiles. How are they coming across so much money, so much wealth? Where are they acquiring all of this from? There's definitely a deeper mechanism that comes into play. What we see, the people we see pulling these triggers, the people we see launching these missiles are just the tip of the iceberg. The bottom of the iceberg, unfortunately, is comprised of society which are complicit with terrorism, and state machineries, including that of, states such as Kerala, are complicit in these activities. Every time they let go of a terror attack, or they, brush aside a serious issue like recruitment to terror organizations like ISIS from the state, all they are doing is showing a degree of complicity to this activity, showing a degree of complicity to where the resources to these organizations are coming from. And that's the only way these organizations grow further, they strengthen, and they wreak havoc in countries across the world. What I think we need to do as a nation is ensure that our people, our Muslims, Indian Muslims, do not end up becoming cannon fodder to the exercise of terrorism across the world and also in Bharat. People do get radicalized in the most unfortunate of ways. There are schools, religious schools that do it. There are regions which have become ethnic enclaves in states like Kerala, where other religions, other minorities, other religions for that sake, are not allowed to live. And this kind of exclusivity is fanning these divisions further, and it's creating prime opportunities for such havoc to wreak in our own country. I think the Western countries had dubious intentions. They thought they're going to let snakes in others' backyards, never expecting it to come and bite them. But it's happening as the law of nature goes. Whatever you set up on the world, it by the end of the day, it does come to you. And I think India needs to be wary. It needs to learn its lessons. And, we need to cut the funding. The minute we cut the funding, that's when all of this stops. We start banning organizations, they're just going to come up as another organization. I think Simi was banned,
you're absolutely
and then PFI
right.
came up.
Rashmi, you're absolutely right. We've run out of time. I'm just going to take a quick closing comment from Mithun. Mithun, if you're there with us.
Yes, I can hear you.
Mithun, the Muslim League had open protest in Kerala. I think it was yesterday, in which an active member of the Hamas also participated. Now, how is this not, outlandish for a country like India, which has clearly at the central level, made it clear whom they are supporting?
Definitely, Vineet. And if you see, we had Rahul Gandhi saying that Muslim League is a secular organization. And from what they did yesterday, things are pretty much clear. Now, Vineet, all I have to say is, I was someone who lived in Kalamassery, where the bomb went off today, and it's a very peaceful place. There have never been such activities or anything like this before. You can actually check how beautiful a place Kalamassery is. So the inner belief today, that what's happening somewhere else may not happen with me. That kind of completely disappeared from my mind, and I'm actually terrified with this incident, because such things can happen even to us. So people of Kerala must, wake up now and take a decision on who must govern them. So that's very important for people of Kerala to, decide, at least at this point, Vineet. And Islamic radicalization is never criticized by the ruling party. And that there is a history of that. We don't have to get into the details. We all know about it. And forget their stand on radicalism. This is a state, where the ruling government openly mocks the majority community and their beliefs. So we had their party secretary, who went to the extent of saying that Ganesha is a myth, but Allah is a belief. So that's the open stand they take for appeasing a particular community. And like the other panelists said, when you are into appeasement beyond a certain level, it becomes fodder for the other extremist elements to grow and, make this the hub of their activities. And that's what is happening in Kerala. And the only thing I would like to, request is that the central government at least now steps in and, ensure that they set up the regional centers of NIA as had been promised before, especially starting with the south, especially from Kerala itself.
Understood.
So that's my comment on this.
Understood. Mithun, appreciate you joining us. Thank you to all my panelists for being a part of this conversation.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.